It is so gratifying.
Oh, look, there's Denny.
Afforded me such a variety of social intercourse.
What a charming apartment you have here, Mrs. Phillips. Upon my word, it reminds me greatly of the small summer breakfast room at Rosings.
Does it indeed, sir? I'm much obliged to you, I'm sure.
I'm sure that Mr. Collins wishes to pay a compliment, Aunt.
Does he? I see.
Rosings Park, we must understand, is very grand indeed.
Oh, indeed it is. Oh, my dear madam, if you thought that I intended any slight on your excellent and very comfortable arrangements, I am mortified. Rosings Park is the residence of my noble patroness, Lady Catherine de Bourgh.
Oh, now I understand.
The chimney-piece in the second drawing room alone cost £800.
Now I see it's clear there's no offence at all. Will you oblige me and sit down to a game of whist?
I must confess I know little of the game, madam, but I shall be glad to improve myself if my fair cousin will consent to release me.
With all my heart, sir.
Oh, Mr. Collins!
What a trumps again?
Hearts, Mr. Collins. Hearts.
I must confess, I thought I should never escape your younger sisters.
They can be very determined. Lydia, especially.
But they're pleasant girls. Indeed, I find that society in Hertfordshire quite exceeds my expectations. I don't see Mr. Bingley and his friends here this evening.
I think some of Mr. Bingley's friends would consider it beneath their dignity.
Really? Have you known Mr. Darcy long?
About a month.
I've known him all my life. We've played together as children.
But
Yes, you're surprised. Perhaps you might have noticed the cold manner of our greeting.
I confess I did.
Are you much acquainted with Mr. Darcy?
As much as I ever wished to be. I've spent 3 days in the same house with him, and I find him very disagreeable.
I fear there are few who would share that opinion, except myself.
But he's not at all liked in Hertfordshire. Everybody is disgusted with his pride.
Do you know... Does he intend to stay long at Netherfield?
I do not know. But I hope his being in the neighborhood will not affect your plans to stay.
Thank you. But it is not for me to be driven away by Mr. Darcy. If he wishes to avoid seeing me, he must go. Oh, we are not on friendly terms, but I have no reason to avoid him but one. He has done me great wrong. His father, Miss Bennet, the late Mr. Darcy, was my godfather and one of the best men that ever breathed. My father was his steward. And when he died, old Mr. Darcy cared for me, provided for me, loved me, I believe, as though I were his own son. He intended me for the church. And it was my dearest wish to enter into that profession. But after he died, and the living he had promised me fell vacant, the son refused, point blank, to honor his father's promises. And so, you see, I have to make my own way in the world.
This is quite shocking. I had not thought Mr. Darcy as bad as this. To descend to such malicious revenge, he deserves to be publicly disgraced.
Someday he will be, but not by me. Till I can forget his father, I can never defy or expose him.